It seems that Andrew Ribeiro, Fittipaldi, of course, Mercedes power, Andrew Ribeiro, Honda power. There's Emerson as he comes off the corner, is playing exactly the same tactic.
My calculations say that Emma's going to have a hard time making it on just one pit stop now, and especially trying to stay ahead of these two guys who are not sitting there sleeping for sure. So you use fuel by driving harder. You save fuel by easing up, shifting earlier, things like that. I don't think Emma's going to be able to do that and stay up in front.
Well, 2 yellows for a total of 4 laps have certainly helped his situation. You can't count on that going all the way to the end. 27 laps now complete. Al Unser Jr. leads it. Back on beautiful Belle Isle in Detroit, you're looking down from one of America's most enduring images, the Goodyear blimp overhead, giving us an aerial view of the course here on Belle Isle today. Floating in an overcast sky, the temperature is staying down, that helping the tires a little bit. This happened just a second ago. Christian Fittipaldi into the tire barrier. He actually went in along with Gilles de Ferran, but de Ferran was able to get his car started again and back out. Look at the back of the helmet. We mentioned this last week. See that chip? He calls that his brain chip, the CF1 brain chip for Christian Fittipaldi. Now, they're trying. He wants him out of the barriers, but he's not getting the kind of help that he was hoping for.
He's already unhooked his seat belts and all. He's been started out, now he's arguing about something, and I think that's the Italian way of talking with his hands, but the guys are not paying any attention, whatever it is.
Corner workers were right there at the time of the incident, but of course, they're not in a position to try and yank this car all the way out, apparently. Needs some mechanical help from one of the trucks. We still stay on a full green flag with a zone yellow only around Christian Fittipaldi's car. Now, 31 laps are complete. Al Unser Jr. is the leader, followed by Tracy Andretti and Emerson Fittipaldi, who has not yet stopped.
Now, if Ferran went in there, Paul, he was able to back out and keep his engine running. Obviously, Christian didn't.
Made a visit to the pits and got back into the running. Jack Arute, can you add to that?
Well, Paul, what Gilles de Ferran did is had the wherewithal to come in. They elected, it looked initially to change the nose cone, but one of the great things is once you come down onto pit road, it's the first chance that crews get to see the condition of the race car. They looked over the nose cone, did have a couple of cracks, but they thought it would take way too long under green flag conditions to change it. They changed tires and sent Gilles back out.
And boy, Jack, will this play into Fittipaldi's hands? Full course yellow.
Wow, 2 Brazilians set up a situation in which the older Brazilian can fully take advantage of it.
So full course yellow with Al Unser Jr. in front. Emerson Fittipaldi, I would guess, would head for the pits anytime now, taking advantage of this. Maybe not, though. Paul Tracy is second. Third is Michael Andretti, then Fittipaldi, and then Robbie Gordon, as we have our third full course caution of the day on Belle Isle in Detroit. Back on Belle Isle, Detroit, keeping an eye on the number 2 red and white car of Emerson Fittipaldi. His team has laid out the tires in the pits while we continue under this full course caution. So, Jack Arute, I would expect he'll be visiting you just any time now.
And Paul, this really didn't work out the way that Chuck Sprague and company had hoped. They had really hoped that this caution would go just a little bit longer. He and Emerson Fittipaldi have been discussing this and saying still it's better to come in and pit now than to have to do it under green flag conditions. So the team is waiting for Emerson Fittipaldi, and they will make a stop. And this will change the window and could change the strategy as far as whether this is a 1-stop or a 2-stop race for Fittipaldi and Team Penske.
Jack, it's also going to be costly because as he comes in the pits, they're probably going to go back to green flag racing.
But still, like as Chuck Sprague was saying, it's still going to be better than having them all back up to speed at another lap. So you sacrifice 1 lap on this stop, but you're still back up to speed quicker than if you waited till the thing was full green for a lap.
And yet get it nearly to the 34th lap, so he gets it just a little bit further.
Now he's already signaled to the drivers behind him. That's Emerson. He's coming in. He's breaking off right now to come into the pits right there. And their decision is right. He's better off to stop now because they've dedicated themselves to a 1 pit stop race.
Emerson makes his stop.
And I also think they can make it because of when this yellow came.
Roar of the engine as Emerson continues to blip it and keep it alive,
while his teammate stays in the lead on the track.
And he's down and away, so Emerson Fittipaldi looked like a good stop, Jack.
It indeed was a good stop, and Chuck Sprague called the action. Let's see if we can get a quick word with Chuck. talking to Emerson. Chuck, not quite what you wanted. You wanted to go to 36, but is it still possible to make this a one-stop race?
Well, anything's possible. It's typical of the season for me this year. We keep looking for 2 more yellows than we're going to get, but we're giving it a shot here, you know. Start from the back like we did there. We have to try a different strategy.
Well, good luck to him. And Bobby Unser, you overheard the radio communication to Emo, fuel to 7 o'clock. Tell us what that means.
Fuel to 7 o'clock. By golly, I don't know. He's not going to be running until 7 o'clock or we're all in trouble, Jack. I don't know.
Chuck Sprague, the team manager for Penske Racing, monitors the action on Emerson Fittipaldi's car while Roger Penske keeps in radio touch with Al Unser Jr.'s car, and he is the leader. The 3rd race that little Al has led this year, and by the way, in each one of those, he's gone on to lead the most laps and won one of the others.
Now again, everybody wants to keep in mind, Emerson Fittipaldi in the number 2, he's going to go all the way, or at least try it. He's going to have to short shift, make mileage. All the other guys are going to have to stop.
You saw Christian Fittipaldi. He's just at the back of this group right now as the leaders came around him. So apparently Lynn St. James, he's back into the fight.
Yes, there was a little confusion on that stop because obviously he'd gotten into the tire walls, and Christian, I think, had almost gotten out of the car, and then they got him back going. He got in here. He was going to get out of the car again while it was in the pits. The crew said, no, stay in, and they were able to change the left front top upper wishbone and tires, and he's back out. But I think we need to keep an eye on him and make sure that, you know, nothing else is damaged.
Now, the problem with that is when they change the wishbones or the uprights or whatever on the front end of or the rear end of a car, the suspension setups are not going to be the same. It's impossible to have them perfect. But he'll still get along a lot better than sitting in the tire wall or in the pit somewhere, Lynn.
What we have here, of course, is the Penske team being threatened and chased by the Carl Haas team, the 2 most powerful teams in IndyCar racing at this point, duking it out here in the streets of Detroit. The interesting thing is the cooperation between Paul Tracy, you see on the left of the screen there, and Michael Andretti pursuing him. Through the year, these 2 young drivers, every reason to have a bitter rivalry, have in fact been very cooperative with one another.
Christian Fittipaldi fell down to 23rd position. As we take a look for 10th place, Andre Ribeiro. He's been battling. Got a crash right on the front stretch. That's Carlos Guerrero and Christian Danner right in front of us here. In fact, you could hear him scraping along the wall at the booth. Both of them appear to be okay. Bobby, that sure got your attention.
Well, it did, and believe it or not, it sounded like a tire exploded to me. Now, often the explosion of a tire means you ran over something, not necessarily the tire maker's fault. But a tire sounded like it exploded. I see tire pieces all over the racetrack. That was right in front of our booth here.
Yeah, that's exactly the view that we have. And look at all the junk that is all over the racetrack. Tire lane way down the track. That looks like it came off of maybe Christian's car. And both of the drivers appear okay. Carlos Guerrero already out of the car. But boy, there's a lot of debris out there and a full course yellow on this one.
This will have major tactical ramifications, of course, particularly affecting Emerson.
Well, you can't see what was the causal factor. But obviously it was Carlos Guerrero leading Danner, and they both caught the wall. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Paul Samposi is absolutely correct. This is considered by this team a free stop for Emerson Fittipaldi. Before the full course came out, the strategy was if we are still running in last place, when a full course yellow come in, because it's basically a free stop. That's what they're going to do. It gets them back within the window, making this their final stop.
Well, and let's review what that's done for him then. When he made his stop, Emerson Fittipaldi fell down to 16th position, but stayed on the leader lap. And that was very important for him to accomplish. So now, with this full course yellow, the 4th of the day, it's going to give him an opportunity to come in, fuel again. It looks even like they have some tires available for him should they want him, and give him a marvelous opportunity to stay at the front of the order. So there's Emerson Fittipaldi as this main straightaway accident, which has littered the pit straight with debris, has slowed the race once again, and they're going to have to spend a few moments trying to get all of the junk from these 2 wrecked cars off of the straightaway. So here on Belle Isle in Detroit, another caution period. We'll be back with more after this message and a word from our ABC station. Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, America's best track athletes go head-to-head in sunny California as we begin live coverage of the U.S. Outdoor Track and Field Championships. plus the Advil Mini Marathon from New York Central Park. That's all Saturday at 4:30, 3:30 Central here on ABC Sports. The ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix on Belle Isle in Detroit under our 4th full course yellow of the day. They're still picking up debris on the pit straight here as a result of contact with the wall involving Christian Danner and Carlos Guerrero. And Lynn St. James, I think, was able to get one of the involved aside. Lynn, do you still have him?
Yes, we have Christian Danner.
Got it.
Christian, do you have any, could you give us any insight of what you saw, what happened out there?
Whoa, yeah, I can give you a rather close insight. The problem I had was that I had no fourth gear. It broke. So in acceleration, especially after a yellow, the car behind has to be a bit careful, you know, because I have to go from 3rd to 5th. And that guy there, he just drove over me. He wasn't very careful. That was all.
Okay, so you're obviously okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just no finish, and that's always bad, isn't it?
It is, but I can tell you it's good that you're walking away from it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good report on Christian Danner there. So Al Unser Jr. is still the leader under the full course yellow. Nothing's changed at the top of the order. It's Unser Jr., Paul Tracy, Michael Andretti, Robbie Gordon, and Scott Pruitt.
You know, we're not too much further away. If it stays yellow like a couple of more laps, everybody, I think, would be pitting and trying to go till the end. Emerson has got everybody wondering or thinking about their pits now.
Well, Emerson Fittipaldi runs 14th, still on the leader lap, Jackaroo.
Well, indeed he is, and here's the deal. If Emerson can go to lap 43 before he stops again, and remember we alluded to it before that he is well in the back of the lead lap, so it would be in essence a free stop for him under a full course yellow. He can go the distance. In the meantime, the man that leads this event, his teammate Al Unser Jr., is coming very close to his normal pit stop window. That would be for his next stop. That would make Emerson and Little Al in two distinct and very different approaches to the tactics to win this race. We've seen it time and time again when Roger Penske lets each side choose the way they want to try and chase the checkered flag.
All right, so we'll keep tracking those tactics too. The 49 car, that's Parker Johnstone. Hadn't been around for a while. He started 27th, and he is now running in 9th position. They're still picking up on the front straight here. Should have it done in just a few minutes. As we roll to the conclusion of lap 39, we'll give you the full rundown. And in the pits, most of the crews from the front of the order have laid out tires, including especially Teo Fabi's crew, who has the first pit. And look at the front of his nose as he passed under there. You get a good idea that he's been definitely in contact with either someone or something bouncing. He may have been the car that actually nudged one of the tires that came off the last accident. So Al Unser Jr. has peeled off. Michael Andretti has peeled off. They all head for their pits. And so here at the close of this yellow, we're going to see some pit action that may carry him all the way.
But Paul Tracy has stayed out. That's the same team with Michael. Let's see what their concept is.
There's Michael Andretti. Interesting tactic being played here. It looks like they should go to green at the conclusion of this lap. Paul Tracy stayed out. Boy, Little Al came out challenging Michael. Didn't get him before the blend line, so they'll stay in those two relative positions, and Paul Tracy, by staying out, assumes the lead.
Now that hurt Little Al. Coming out second hurt him. Little Al is at one end of the pits. Michael's clear at the other end.
All right, now, a couple of cars topping off there at the last minute. Jack Arute, what is all this pit strategy being played? It looks great. Jack?
Well, Paul, what this all means is, at least from my end of the pits, and that includes